Good evening, everyone. And you're welcome to the Freelancer Townhall Meeting today. And we are more than excited to have you all. It's going to be an engaging session. I am Izu Samuel. And today, our topic is centered around how clients can use our platform to hire for impact. As already stated by Mr. Mobo, the Chief Energy Officer of this great organization, we see it as a time today to also project to you what we are working on. And that being said, we want to welcome you to this great town hall meeting today organized by the team of the freelancers. And we so much believe in the factors of God a lot. And so it will be pleasant for us to also start off the session today by saying a word of opening prayer. And that will be said by our dear brother, Mr. Sixtus. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Is for calling that in, and I don't know if we have Muslims here, so please pardon me to just say a little opening prayer. Okay, just in Jesus' name, Lord, we thank you.
Oh, I think we lost sisters briefly. I'll take the opening prayer. Thank you, Father, for today. Thank you because we are blessed, and thank you because of what you are using us to do within the continent of Africa. We are grateful to you. We pray. Amen. Awesome. All right. So Samuel, back to you.
Apologies. Thanks, Mobo, for completing that. I don't know, my internet went off. Sorry.
That's fine. Thank you so much. Samuel, back to you.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Mopo. Moving on quickly, the next thing that we're going to be having is we're still anticipating to join us Dr. Ken Jami, all the way from the Organization of the African Leadership. So it's going to be an impactful conversation. But we are going to jump into the session where we're going to be having our panelists to have a few discussions. But before we get on that, we want to ask you, there is going to be a time for you to be able to engage us with some questions. In case you have any question bordering around how to efficiently use the platform, freelancer.com, we're going to be able to respond to those questions objectively and give you guidance. For everything that we are working on, they're all centered around efficiency and with the aim of solving the problem of unemployment in Africa, leveraging on quality skill set. So that being said, I'm going to be inviting our panelists, and the session is going to be moderated by our Chief Energy Officer. But ladies and gentlemen, the flight is about to take off. And I would like to encourage you all to just fasten your seatbelts and ensure that you are relaxed for today's conversation because it's going to be so impactful, right? And the first person I'm going to be calling on, for the panel session, I count it all an honor. And I want to welcome. So once I call your name, you just unmute your mic and, just say hello to the audience, and that will be amazing. And so the first person I'm going to call on, hi, Ruby Aginma, please, are you there? Let's hear from you.
Hello, hi everyone.
Also,
hi Izu, thank you so much for the introduction. Hello everyone, good evening. Thank you so much for joining, and I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. It will be so glad for us to also see your amazing face, if you don't mind.
Sure, that's fine. If you just give me a moment.
Awesome. Just take your time, please. And moving on quickly, we're going to invite joining us the manager. In fact, this is someone with great values, and I'm talking about Mr. Sixtus Onyekwere. Hi, Mr. Sixtus Onyekwere. Glad to have you join the panel today.
Hello.
Hi, Mr.
Good evening,
Sixtus.
everyone.
Please, are you there?
It's good to see your beautiful faces. Yeah. Hello. Can you hear me? So sorry, I don't know what is going on with my internet today, but hello. Can everyone hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear, please.
Oh, all right. So apologies. I don't know if it's my headset or I'm happy to be here, and I'm glad to people from the Center for the Study of Economies of Africa, and also a few people that one who is here. I'm looking forward to a fruitful discussion and presentation by our guest speaker today. Thanks, Izu.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sixtus. Thank you very much for joining in. And moving on quickly, we're going to call the last but not the least to join the panel for today's conversation. And we're talking about our, please, I'm just going to give me a moment, please. Yeah. Okay. So Dr. Vivian Ikem. Hi, Dr. Vivian Ikem. You're very welcome. And it's so pleasant to have you join today's conversation. If you are close to your mic, I'd like to hear you and also see your amazing face. Over to you, please.
Hi, how are you? Yeah, nice to be here and to see what's happening and to see how I can add some value. Mobu, I see you smiling. So yeah, hi. I look forward to where this goes.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Vivian Ikem, and it's so pleasant to have you join the conversation today. Just to hand over the baton to the person, the amazing person that will be moderating the session today, the Chief Energy Officer of the freelancer across Africa and many other nations related to this great project. And I'm talking about Mr. Mobo Eberendo. Hi, Mr. Mobo Eberendo.
Hello, hello. Thank you so much. I'm Samuel. Thank you for answering. Um, really grateful to be joined today by some of our amazing speakers, Mr. Sisters from Center for Success and Economy for Africa, and Dr. Viv. Dr. Viv is a great friend and an amazing entrepreneur. She does so many things. She's going to introduce herself fully. And also Ruby. Ruby is a PhD researcher at the University of Portsmouth. So it's so great to be joined by so many amazing people today. So thank you so much. So I will start with the panelists, and I'm just going to start with asking you to introduce yourself and introduce your role, what you do, and let's start from there. So I'm going to be starting from our amazing Dr. Vivian Ikem. So Dr. Viv, coming to you straight away. So can you kindly introduce yourself to everyone here today and to the rest of the world that will be listening afterwards?
Okay, so hi everyone again. So I'm Dr. Vivian Oikem, short is Dr. Viv, and lovely to be here again. In terms of who I am, where do I start from? I guess the summary is I'm not going to go into my background, but what really applies here is the fact that I my focus at the moment is in coaching. I do other things, I work, but this bit, I coach on issues of well-being, personal development, and things like that. And I have a business around that. And it's funny because I bumped into, let me put it this way. I have been doing some things in my business, and I was at a point where I wanted to hire someone. And I remember bumping into Mobu at an outing in the UK at some point and having a conversation. But this whole freelancer thing came up. And, I believe in God's timing as well. I won't get into all of it, but the point was one thing led to the other. We had a conversation and I was like, oh, I'm at that point where I want to hire someone, to support me in the things that I'm doing. And that is how, that is how I got into freelancer, and have, got into hire and freelancer. And I know I've gone beyond telling you a bit about me. I'm keeping that minor, but at least that is who I am, what I do. I'm in the coaching consulting space, and hiring freelancer, from freelancer for that. I do other things outside of that, but I'll just leave it there. And Ruby, nice to meet you. I've got a PhD as well, so nice to connect there. Mine is in chemical engineering. So nice to see someone else in the sciences. But yeah, I think that's a summary.
Thank you so much, Dr. I told you guys there's a lot to unpack with the experiences of Dr. Vivian. She will tell you more in the course of the time we will spend with her this afternoon. So quickly moving to Ruby. Hi, Ruby. Can you tell us a little bit about you?
Sure thing. Hi, everyone. Once again, thank you so much for having me. Hi, Mobu. My name is Ruby. Tagama Takema, like Mobu said, I am a PhD researcher. I'm in the educational technology space. I have a background in software engineering. But for my final year project in software engineering, I decided that I wanted to pursue something education related, so my PhD is focused on educational technologies and, improving the integration of technology in education. Apart from that, I work with freelancer as the vendor engagement officer, meaning that I basically keep in touch. I onboard all of the vendors. If you're a vendor on freelancer or Africa Express or Africa Eats, you'll be working through me. So yeah, essentially, in summary, that is who I am and that is what I do. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Ruby, doctor in prep. Thank you so much. Moving on to the Professor Emeritus in process, to the great researcher, Mr. Sixtus Onyokware.
Hello, thank you, Mobo. Yeah, we have people from a lot of tribes here. If not, there is one Igbo parable I usually tell Mobo, and I think I'll reserve it. So, but thank you for kind of, I will only just say amen to everything you said. So I'll just say amen to that. Yeah, so my name is Sixtus Onyekwere. Basically, I have a background in international development. I kind of picked up interest in it during my undergraduate in Portsmouth, and then I went to further my master's in that international development space. And I have been a strong advocate against aid, international aid, official development assistance. And I dedicated my master's thesis discouraging aid. So it's a controversial topic. So, but I believe that Africa can do more with trade and more of empowerment than development aid that is flooding into the space. It's kind of doing more harm than good. So when Mobu brought the freelancer idea, it was a perfect kind of let's say, it's the kind of help Africa needs in a way of empowering the youth to actually get something, they can do with their hands and earn income. So the development aid that has been flooding into Africa since centuries ago, it it has not done much for us. And there are lots of empirical evidence to support that kind of fact. And my master's thesis also supported that fact, that aid is doing more harm than good. Okay, so moving on from there, so I kind of got invited to Center for the Study of Economics of Africa to work with them. So that's where I work as a research associate. It's an organization founded by Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala to kind of to ensure that policies in Africa are evidence-driven and are based on data. So if you notice in Africa, we don't value research, we don't value data. You know, the kind of policies that go out there are mostly politically driven. So we're trying to change that. So we are making huge progress towards that step. So I'm glad to be here, and thanks everyone for being here. Thank you, Mo.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And yeah, for everyone, in case you don't know me, my name is Mabu Berendu. I am the CEO and one of the co-founders of Freelancer, which is a marketplace that focuses on taking African talents to the world, one talent at a time, on the virtue of rising by lifting others. So I'm going to start with a question, and I'll probably start with our last speaker who introduced himself, because he touched on some of the things I'm going to ask him about right now, and I will also come to get some more opinion across board from everybody. So, so I believe that Africa does not need aid. I believe that what we need is opportunity. What does that mean to you? And what was that one opportunity that changed everything for you? So I'm coming to you, Mr. Sixtus. So shed some light on that question.
Okay, thank you very much, Mobu. I think from the very first start of Freelancer, even when it was alternate concept, before it now became Freelancer, it's an idea I had to immediately jump on with you to see how we can make this a reality. And I'm very happy that this is a reality. Most people that follow my posts, sometimes you always see it go out about discouraging aid. This is not an easy topic. To be honest, I had struggled to publish my thesis because I think there are kind of forces that don't want that kind of discussion to be open. Because to be honest, the aid is an avenue, like it's a kind of an agenda where some things, will I say, interests of the West get pushed down to Africa. Most of you might not know, but whenever it says that social organization pumped billions of dollars or pounds into something, it doesn't end there. There are agreements that have to be signed behind the scene. There are things that government will have to agree to before they get that aid. And because we are mostly because we know that this aid is going to keep coming. So what happens is that we now have to base our policies on those aid that come in a way that we become dependent on aid, and we forget to see other resources that we could actually make use of. So I usually write in some of my pieces that aid is making us lazy. Aid is making Africans lazy. It's making us to abandon things we are supposed to do. It's making our government, in fact, it's contributing to corruption. So the kind of opportunities we need are targeted opportunities. Things like Freelancer, for instance. So something that can actually come to empower the youth. I remember sometime we had an interaction with Mobile. I think this idea is not being pushed so far, but I know it's somewhere there. We had something where we will actually kind of organize a little bit of training. We call volunteers, people who are in the tech, who are in different spaces, to kind of, as a form of community service, kind of train people in several skills and then bring them onto Freelancer and let businesses hire them So they say there is dignity in service. So that's the actually kind of thing we need. So businesses like this freelancer or other targeted opportunities, maybe like specific trainings on particular things, or maybe if there are investments that need to be made in Africa, don't bring foreigners to come and work on it. So most of the time, what you notice is that some of these investments that come abroad, they still bring their people to still come here to work on that. Whereas we have experts in Africa. We have, in fact, I think freelancer is one of is a strong evidence to show that we don't actually need foreigners to do anything, because freelancer from scratch to what it is now is built by Africans, mostly Nigerians. We don't have any well, I say Western person in our team. I think these are mostly Africans, and we have what it takes to get there. And that's kind of the message I've been trying to preach so far. So sorry, Mo, but that took a little bit long. Yeah.
Awesome. There's one question that I really like what the one anchor I will take from everything you said is that we have what it takes. We have what it takes. I really strongly believe that we do have what it takes. But I wanted to come back to you to ask, what's one opportunity changed everything for you? Because I believe that what people really need is just an opportunity. I believe can be a window to everything else that happens for every someone. So what one opportunity changed everything for you?
Okay, thank you, Mobu. So, okay, sorry, I kind of skipped that. So I just wanted to ask, are you asking like my personal career, like an opportunity that kind of changed something for me? I just wanted to clarify, or yeah.
I'm leaving that decision to you. It's open-ended, so you can answer from a personal perspective or from a professional perspective. But where have you ever had an opportunity that really was the start of where you have gotten to now, basically? And what was that?
Okay, thank you. I think I got that question very well now. So I will say two opportunities, not just one. I think the first opportunity that changed things for me was the economics in Portsmouth. I think that's kind of was one opportunity that kind of set me off on the path that I needed to be. So, and not just me, I think I still have Sam Wesia in this call. So we went to Portsmouth together under that scholarship scheme. He's on the call here. So that was a kind of a big push in my career path. And then the second one was when I got invited the research organization funded by Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala now to join the team as a full-time researcher. And one thing I can say is that when I got there, I think my kind of perspective of African researchers changed. So you come to notice that majority of, I won't even say majority. Okay, let me just put it that way. So majority of people who are there, they're actually maybe people who have studied one program or other in Nigeria here. And these people are highly intelligent. Even myself, when I got there, I even had to start learning from those people who were already there. So I think finding talents within Africans and giving them the opportunity, it's kind of what we need. It's kind of what we need in that space. So I don't know, Movu, if that kind of addressed that.
Okay, so at first you were part of, I think Sisters was part of a scholarship program that enabled him to study and develop himself, and also the opportunity he got with the Center for Study for Economic for Africa's economic development. So that's amazing. So, Dr. Viv, I'll come to you with the same question. So the question is this. I believe that Africa does not need aid. We need opportunity. What does this mean to you? And also, what was that one opportunity that changed everything for you? Dr. Viv.
This is a packed question for me. This is a packed question for me. And I'm not going to go into my thinking about, if Africa needs aid or not. I won't debate that one, but I can see the point of view around it. I think I mean, from our conversations, I see the importance of opportunities. I see the importance of opportunities, and even in my own life. So if you ask me what one opportunity, I'm not sure I can pick on one, because I'm just thankful that I've had a few opportunities, to do certain things, and which is why, put it this way, I've been out of Nigeria for a while, but I go to Nigeria often, and I see things happen, right? And I say to myself, which is why when we have the conversation, where I was like, should I hire from here or not? I was like, I want to feel like I am also giving someone else an opportunity, because I know that there are people who need those opportunities, people who benefit from the growth that the opportunities give. For me, I am thankful I have come a long way in my career. I've had a lot of down points, but I've also grown, especially even just the coming over, when I did my first degree, second degree, third degree, everything here. And the growth I have seen is, is an opportunity in itself. Let me put it that way. So I don't know where to start with the opportunities, but more to say that I see the opportunities and the growth in myself, and I can contribute to giving that back to someone else, and hoping that that opportunity helps to grow someone, and make it better for people in Africa. I don't know if I answered your question correctly, but
Amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Viv. I'm going to move straight to Dr. Ruby. Yeah, same question. What does it mean to you when we say we need opportunity? What does opportunity mean to you? And what one opportunity would you say
Um,
really was remarkable journey so far?
okay, I think I'll start with the second question, which is what opportunity would I say, is um, one that I would always reference, in my journey, both my life and as well as my career. I think it was just right after my GS3. I literally just went one day to my mom's office, and I met somebody in my mom's office who just asked, can you code? And I was like, no, first of all, I didn't even know anything about coding or programming languages. And that was it. And then he said, oh, I'll teach you. And that was it. And I think that a lot of times opportunities present themselves not in opportunity boxes, right? And over that GS3 holiday, he came to the house every weekday after work to teach me programming. And that was even
Wow.
the experience that I decided that I was going to study software engineering. Prior to that, I knew nothing about, I had it in school here and there when we're doing theory, but then the actual practical was, through this time that I spent with, this random person who just randomly asked if I could code. And that has set the stone for my life as well as my career. I think opportunities are so important to the trajectory of anybody's career as well as life. And I think that beyond even the opportunity, the ability to recognize it. And I think I'm happy that Freelancer is presenting a lot of Africans, young people, with that opportunity. But the question we should also ask ourselves is, are people recognizing it? Do they realize that this is something that could literally set your whole life or your whole career, in stone? So I think Africa definitely does need opportunities, but then we must also ask ourselves, with the ones that we've been presented with, what have we done with it? What will we do with it? And it's a question for everyone, we must be introspective about these questions, asking ourselves, so far in my life, are there points that I recognize that, I had opportunity presented to me and I did nothing with it? how might I be better prepared, for the next time that such an opportunity might come. So essentially that's it for me.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Dr. Ruby. That is very profound. All right, moving on very quickly. I'm going to come back to Dr. Vivian. So, Dr. Vivian, the next question I have for you is that what factors do you consider important when you are hiring a candidate or when you are giving someone an opportunity?
Mobu, I know you know the answers to some of these questions. Am I allowed to talk honestly?
Be as honest as you want to be.
As honest as possible.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me ask the question: what is the audience right now in the room, in this town hall? What is the audience, or who are the people in the audience? Just so that I'm clear about who I'm speaking to in here.
So
I know
there are people who there are people who are freelancers, and there are people who are also what we call fro heroes. So these are clients who are making use of the platform. We refer to them
like
as
me.
fro heroes. So
Okay.
yes, like you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Awesome.
Fair enough. Okay. It helps me to know how best to answer that question. So I'm thinking how best to frame my question, and hello everyone, please bear with me. So I'll tell you what, I remember when Mobo and I were speaking, I remember saying to him, I'm very wary of hiring from Nigeria. I have my biases, and I'll be very honest, with you about that for different reasons. Yeah. And usually when I hire from Upwork, and I was at that point of hiring from Upwork when I met Mobo. And I had my different reasons, mostly because of some things that I had seen, especially, and certain standards that I may want in the way things are done. But in a way, I was glad that we gave it. I told him, I said, I want to contribute to Africa, so I'm willing to try, right? And I was going to be open to try. It also called on some patience from my side, but we worked together to see what I was after. Now, at the time when I was hiring, I was after a virtual assistant and social media manager, right? And I remember the first one we did, we went about hiring, took some learnings from that to hire the next person. And these are some of the things that I will call out to, that if I'm hiring, I would look for. And so for those who are freelancers, I hope that some of this will help. And I'm guessing that some of the what's it called now? People that are pro heroes as well may relate or may have something to say about this. One of the first things that I had to think about, or I realized I had to be clear on, was what I wanted. So for a long time, and with the things that I was doing everything, right? So I'm knowledgeable about different things. Let me put it that way. So once upon a time, many things, somebody can just throw something at me and I would just take it. But put it this way, I design, I copyright, I manage social media, so with all the things that I do, I work, but I do this, I have invested in my own self, right? So over time, my own growth has meant that I have taken on certain skills. So now I was now in a position where I was now trying to delegate, and I was not having to break down the task and separate that away from myself. So I was asking myself, what am I after in the person? That's the first thing I had to get clear. By the time we then went through the process, I said, what kind of person do I also want, right? There's certain standards I want. I am cool, but I'm also a person of excellence. So, and whatever I'm putting out, I want there to be excellence in what I'm doing. So what do I want in the person? Character mattered, and some of the things that I said to, I've experienced in the past, I've had people where they've run off on me, and different things like that. That's one of the things that freelancer solves. So I was very wary. So that character was very important for me. Character of the person. Second thing as well was also attitude of learning. You don't know everything. We don't know everything. None of us will, but there's an attitude that shows this person is open to grow and learn. So as a freelancer, and this is a thing, to be honest with you, even in working, right? You go into a thing, you start a new job, you may not know everything, but you come in with a certain skill set, and then you adapt your mindset to being willing to learn and take on what the client is saying. So for me, that was something I was looking for, that attitude to learning, to know that the person was open to learning. Another thing is attention to detail. This was a very, 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 very important one. I have had someone where I hired, and in the end, I got stressed because I was having to correct everything that the person was doing. So if someone is hiring, I'm hiring because I want to give the opportunity, but the opportunity is such that the business and the person that is hiring, their life is also made easier, put it that way. But if I'm hiring and hiring you is adding to my stress, that's a problem. And for me, attention to detail is important. There's nothing like, you do the work and then just schoolboy error is happening, not once, not twice, not 3 times, 10 times. That is something that I will look out for. The other thing is how you receive the feedback. It's one thing to hear feedback. It's another thing to take on the feedback and apply it, that people will see, this person is growing. This person is applying, is hearing what I'm saying and is applying. This person takes an interest in what I'm doing in my business. It makes a difference. And with the things that the sort of area that I am in, right? My area is sensitive. I want to know that I can trust the person. I want to be able to, I'm doing other things. I want to know that I can comfortably leave the person and know that things are happening. Not that you run off. And the other thing as well, please forgive me for saying this. Like over here, like, Christian, Muslim, whatever, it doesn't matter, right? If you have church, if you have things to do, let me put it this way, whether or not I have church conference or whatever, I have to take permission from my manager. It's not a thing of church is happening or I have church conference and you disappear on the person that's hired you. That doesn't work. Not for an international, how do I say it now? Not for an international clientele.
Opportunity. Yeah.
Not for international opportunity. Yeah. So there's that culture thing that matters. How do you see the work? How do you see yourself? Let us separate. I'm someone, I separate science, I separate religion. Let us keep things in balance. It's very, very important. So being able to see that balance in the person that I'm hiring is also important. Another thing, and this was one of the things that I looked out for, because I remember when the second time we went through a process of interviewing. I think we had almost 130 something people apply, and I had to sieve through. And one of the things that I looked out for was humility. Humility, very important. And I won't lie to you, the person that I hired, I won't say that she had all the skills. Some people came with, all the skills that walked in, I was like, wow. But when they spoke to me, so I remember one was even interviewing me in the interview, I was confused, So it's that humility. It makes such a difference. You may not have all the skills, but that humility, the patience that is shown that says, it just shows that this is person that I can work with. And I think the person I've been working with now has been like almost 5 months, and I'm happy. So those are things. And another thing as well is, especially, I guess this is a consciousness for freelancers. Yeah. I remember saying to Mobile, I know this is what I expect of the freelancer. This is how do I say it now? This is how many hours or whatever I'm expecting of the person. However, I don't care so much about that. But what I want to know is that the deliverables are happening, the things are happening, right? Which means the person is organized, the person is able to be there without me. I don't want to micromanage. I want to know that things are happening. But this is the thing, and it's a caution for freelancers. As a freelancer, you get to take one client, you want to take another client, you may have your other things going on. But where having one client and another client starts to conflict, that becomes an issue. I don't know if I'm making sense on that. Every client wants to feel important. Let me put it that way. So if you're going to do a job for somebody, but you're going to have others, you want to be careful that, or I want to know that you can keep things in balance. I may not be monitoring you. I may not monitor your time, but if I'm having to look for you when I need you, it's like, do you have it in balance? I'm not going to stop you from doing something else. But if it conflicts, or if you cannot manage, or if you take my stuff to do your stuff, it's red flags. So those are some of the things I hope I've been, I know I've touched on a few things, because that begins to give, and I will be very honest with you, and Mobile can tell you, I was very, very reluctant on hiring anyone from Africa. Like when I see it, I run. Even on Upwork, I don't respond to anybody. If they reply, I don't. So this is the first time that and Mobile and I will work together, and I'm pleased with where we've gotten to. But it was me also being very articulate about what I was after, making sure and doing the interviews, being, and knowing that there are good people, because there are good people out there. And yeah. I am very convinced about that. So, and it's not so much about the opportunity. And you see, somebody can bring an opportunity to you, but how you then, it's one thing to get an opportunity, it's another thing to keep the opportunity. And what keeps opportunity is character. What keeps opportunity is excellence. What keeps opportunity is showing interest, letting the people know that, you're not just another business for me. You're not just another, it's very easy to lose opportunity, especially in freelancing, but where you can show consistency of character, where you can show that you're humble enough, you're not, and you can also upskill, and I say this because I know this is a challenge for whoever I work with. Once upon a time, if I need a design, like my website, I design my website. Mobile knows. Those are things I picked up before. Anybody can give me anything, but not now. So it's also being able to understand the clientele and who, how do I say it now? What they're after, and just understand people and be able to work to certain standards, especially in an international thing. And where you don't know, be open to say, I don't know. For me, it's frustrating when there is a deadline, you don't know what to do, but rather than say, I need help with this, or I need help. Do you understand what I mean? You keep quiet. And then when the deadline comes, well, like, hey, what's going on? So it's that thing of being honest to say, I'm comfortable doing this, or I need support around this on time versus later. So Mobile, I know I've spoken a lot. Hopefully that was
there's a lot you've unpacked in those few words. It's amazing. But one thing I could see is that, from even hearing from you, as an African, and even like hearing about the initial reluctance about hiring from Africa, it just tells me that for Africa to get the opportunities that we are asking for, it's not going to happen out of pity, right? It's not going to happen out of pity. It is going to happen as a result of our character, our excellence, our ability to show interest, our attitude to learn more, our attention to detail, and how well we receive feedback. Also, humility, and also ensuring that we do not have conflict of interest that basically makes our client reluctant to work with us. So those are some of the things I picked from what you just said, and it's quite remarkable. And I'll come back with some questions in regards to that. And also, guys, if you have any questions, just keep them on the chat, and then we'll come to it later. So thank you so much, Dr. Vivian. I'll be moving on to Mr. Sixtus from the Center. It's a mouthful. Let me just let me get it back. Center for the Study of the Economy of Africa. Center for the Study of the Economies of Africa. Amazing. So, Mr. Sisters, I'm coming to you with a question. Is how do you think, um, or do you think is of any benefit to hire candidates that will make positive impact in the society? So, do you think that it's of any benefits to hire candidates that would make positive impact in the society?
Okay, thank you for that question. And I hope you can hear me, right?
Yeah.
My internet hasn't been friendly today, so apologies for that. I don't know if I can be heard.
Yeah,
okay, thank you very much. Yes, I believe there are two kinds of benefits. Okay, so there are two ways I see hiring from Africa benefits anyone. Okay, there is one benefits in terms of people who have the money, just like Dr. Vivian just mentioned that she wanted to give it a go. I'm sure if I ask her what she's gaining from that, one of the things would be this personal satisfaction, doing good. Yeah. So it's not enough to see, where maybe sometimes they will say this UNICEF or UNESCO and they will bring something and say, okay, donate to a social place, there was a bombing, or donate to, yeah, that is good. I'm not saying it's not, yeah. So, but this kind of straightforward support you're giving someone a job to do. You are paying the person is realizing the money, the person is improving in terms of skills, and the person is gaining exposure as well. So that one, a sense of a sense of satisfaction that you're doing good to humanity, you're contributing to humanity. That is one. A second benefit I see is the Africa rising to become the giant that it is. And anyone who is contributing to that, you are helping everyone. I'm very sure even the West, most countries are tired of seeing Africans there. Yeah, they're tired of it. They even want Africans to remain in Africa, most of these countries, because of immigration and things like that. Who are giving jobs to Africans? You are doing two things. You are helping, you are contributing to humanity, and secondly, you are helping Africa to grow. Africa has been through a lot. I don't know if I say we were unfortunate to be at a particular geographical area where civilization did not kind of kick off as faster as it kicked off in other parts of the world. We were taking advantage of on many occasions, on many areas. So I don't want to go into details because it's going to be boring everyone with those details. But I just want to leave it to the extent that Africa, we were not supposed to be like this. Yeah, people who were wiser than us, that were supposed to help us, actually helped themselves through us. So it's kind of this unconscious efforts to kind of hire people in Africa. That is the impact you are making. You are trying to help Africa rise up to what is fine your own personal, let's say, need to contribute to humanity. So I wouldn't want to stretch beyond that unless you want to probe further because of that.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you, Mr. Sixtus. Dr. Ruby, I'll be coming to you with the same question. So, what do you think, or do you think is of any benefit to hire candidates that would make positive impact in the society? Dr. Ruby.
No, just can I ask you to repeat the question? I didn't hear the latter part of it. Do I think it's of any benefit to hire
candidates that will make positive impact in the society?
Definitely, definitely. I mean, employing one person, just like Dr. Viv and Sisters has said, has a way of spiraling down. It seems like it's just one individual that is being hired, but then at the end of the day, an entire society, an entire continent is benefiting from it. I think something that Sisters just explained in terms of the African continent constantly being at a disadvantage, especially when it comes to opportunities. Now, by just simply what Dr. Viv has done, by just even giving a chance for a few people to be hired, to work on her project from Nigeria, she's empowered these people not just with skills but even financial resources. These people might grow and they might impact, the next people like that. It just has a way of having like this entire domino effect, and the domino effect spirals through individuals to the entire society. So they definitely benefit not just on an individual level, which is increasing both the skill and financial capability of individuals, but even reaching through to family and the entire society at large. And then once it gets to the society, the continent starts to benefit. And just looking at America, even the kind of money that they get from one of their celebrities in tax, it covers for like a whole lot, a whole percentage of probably, what they give towards their army or what they give even towards, taking care of their politicians. So my point is just one individual might seem like such a small percentage, but that investment has the potential to grow to impact the entire continent or the entire society. So I think we should definitely take a leap from what Dr. Viv has said, put hands together in what Freelancer is doing, because every time we empower one person with a job, over time it's spirals down, like I said, a domino effect, and whether or not we see it, the entire society, the entire continent benefits from it. So there's several benefits to note on a small scale as well as the larger scale.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Ruby. So my next question is going to come back to you, Dr. Ruby, to start with, and then I would also want Dr. Vivian's opinion on it. So, what is your take on the issue of cheaper alternatives in Africa to the high labor cost in developed nations? Do you think that Africa is a viable, cheaper alternative for resourcing, especially where it comes to human capital, um, um, as opposed to the rest of the world? Dr. Ruby.
Okay, so that's a very interesting question, and I think that there are two arguments to it, and I'm even thinking now on which side I'm basing my arguments. But I think that as where things are right now, it definitely is a solution in terms of getting cheaper labor costs. And we can attribute that to the current situation of our economic sector, speaking particularly with regards to Nigeria now. In the last couple of weeks, we've seen what has happened to the Naira. And this means that, employers with, holding the euros or the pounds or the dollars are going to come into the country. What they would normally pay just 2 people, they're going to come and pay about 15 people in Nigeria, to do that same job. So I think that it definitely is an advantage, but we need to be careful that people don't exploit it, people don't take advantage of it, particularly the African continent. We see what's happening with Congo, with all of these jewelry companies, people going there sourcing their gold, and they're, making small children work to, remove this jewelry from the ground. So I think it's something that is already, but I think we need to be careful that it does not become something that people major on and begin to exploit us from. And I think it starts from awareness. Everyone here, whether you are a freelancer or not, you should know your value, you should know what your value. And I think that is why the conversation, being exposed, you don't even have to travel to be exposed. You can even just reach out to that. Thank God for social media, LinkedIn and all of that. Know what your counterparts are earning, so that when people come to you and they present you, with, certain amounts, you can, know straight off that, okay, this person is trying to take advantage of maybe where I'm from or where I'm living. I think that you would only charge what you think is your value. So if you don't know your value, then people are definitely going to exploit you or give you what they think is your value. So I think that it is a call for Africans, particularly obviously freelancer, because we cater for the African and I think what we've done is so beautiful. So in freelancer, you're going to find that people put the gigs up, people put it in dollars, and I think that is so important. That's a way of making people understand that, yeah, we know our value and we are not going to settle for less than that. So you find that the gigs that we have up there are in dollars, and it's still cheaper. It's still relatively cheaper than how much they would have gotten it abroad. But then at least we are not allowing people to take advantage of us. So yeah, it's an advantage for people coming in. But we must be careful that it does not become something that people are using to abuse us or exploit us with. Yeah.
Awesome. And Dr. Vivian, I'm coming to you with the same question, but I want to also put out a thought, is that India as a country has used outsourcing, the human capital to really grow their society. Do you think that the same thing can happen for Africa? And if so, do you think Africa presents a cheaper alternative than the rest of the world? Dr. Vivian.
Another loaded question, and I appreciate Ruby's response. And it's interesting, really. I think that especially when you bring in the India perspective, right? Because if there's certain things people will go to India for, a lot of things are being outsourced to India. What do you then bring? Can Nigeria be the same? I guess the thing is this: anything is possible, right? Anything is possible. Now, Ruby touched on something important, which is you not being exploited. There are reasons why things are probably cheaper from our side. And I look at it this way: there are some things that can be outsourced to us in Africa. There's some things that may not, until many things are sorted. So by that, I mean electricity, level of technology, all sort of things, internet. You understand what I mean? Because there is that, how do I say it now? Is that balance in view? And that is a different ballgame altogether. That's probably beyond, solving some of those problems is a bigger, it's a bigger issue, but those are some of the things that come into play. And I come back again to say this: playing on the international space, the Indians have been very good at that. They've zeroed in a lot of where a lot of outsourcing happens with technology, for example, happens with a lot of repeat processes, So Indians have zeroed in. What has Nigeria zeroed in? Is the question. What has Africa zeroed in on? That is a question. India is doing well because they've zeroed in on certain things, and when we are going to outsourcing, what they've been known for something. So what is Nigeria or Africans being known for? If we want to think on that level, what have we been known for? What do we want to be known for? What have we been known for? So I'm going to take it a step. That's on that level. I'll take it a step down, to on an individual level, is to say, again, pointing on to the things that I want, I had mentioned before. If any individual wanting to play on that same level or command the sort of things that some people will command, say, for example, on Upwork or people living abroad, let me ask the question: why would I take you over someone else? If you wanted to charge the same, let me put it that way. Why would I take you over someone in India? Or why would I take you over someone in UK? What is your USP, or what is that extra that you think you can, that may make me maybe overlook certain other challenges? Do you see what you see what I mean? So those are some of the thoughts that that come to me. But anything is possible, and I'll be honest with you, I respect Nigerians. Where I think I was there for a year, and I was just like, sometimes Nigerians can make you feel like you're not even doing enough. I am thinking I'm working, but it's like the hustle, people are hustling, and I respect that, that's hard work. You understand that spirit? We're resilient. That's I give that, to us. I give that to Africa, they're resilient. Now let's temper that resilience with character. Let's temper that resilience with attention to detail. Let's temper that resilience with the humility. Let's temper that resilience with other things. You make a well-rounded person that can fly on the international space.
Awesome. But do you think that it could be a unique selling point that, Africa is a bit more affordable than India, for example? Because considerably, Africa is a cheaper alternative to India. What do you think about that, Dr. Vivian?
Like I said, anything is possible. The question, and you are right, okay, put it this way, everything is a balance. There's opportunity versus cost, and there are other factors. So what do I, if I was going to outsource to India, but I end up outsourcing to Nigeria because it's cheaper, what am I giving up? You understand what I mean? That is where my head is. For some people, for someone like me, it may not matter, which is what I can do from Nigeria, right? Because of what I am doing and what my needs are. But for somebody else, maybe they may need something else.
Yeah.
They may not be able, they may say it's cheaper, but this may be compromised. You see what I mean? So it's a balance of what am I giving up for cost? Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
But what do you think because I think one of the things that freelancer does is to help unbalance the balance, to help balance things out. So what do you think? I mean, what do you see happening if the cost of hiring, there's no let's say it's a level playing field for both parties.
Yeah.
That even with it being a level playing field, that Africa is still a cheaper alternative. What do you think that could unlock for the African society?
I think it would be amazing. There's no doubt about it. And obviously, you and I, the platform has been amazing. It works for me, right? Where I've made suggestions, you guys, there's been quickness to, add things to make it to fit what I need.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So the tool is there. You understand? The tool is there. And if everybody gets an opportunity, can come on and can function, right? It works. And there's no doubt that it makes a huge difference to the economy, which is why I said to you, I want to feel like I'm also contributing. And the tool enables to do that, right? Yeah. I think when some of the things I'm saying is more from the angle of this. It's a tool. Freelancer is a window that enables business, right? But beyond that platform, beyond the tool or beyond the platform, there is the person being able to fulfill the duties for which business has been contracted.
Yes.
That is where when I'm talking is that thing of, for me, I'm saying it may work, right? For somebody else, the actual fulfillment of the work is now a different, the contract, and freelancer enables the opportunity to take place, but it is then what can be delivered out. You understand what I mean? I've hired you on, can you efficiently deliver as agreed? That is what will keep the business going.
Amazing.
Did I answer that?
Yeah, thank you so much for doing that justice. I have another question that will come to Mr. Sixtus. Dr. Vivian, talked about a lot of things there, and you could see she really touched on something. She said that India is known for something. They've zeroed in on certain things. And my question to you, Mr. Sixtus, especially from representing the Center for Studies for Economies of Africa, my question is, what policies do you think that African leaders can make to support opportunities reaching Africans?
Okay, thank you, Mobo, for that. I will address it from the point of view of the audience we have here, because if we had those policymakers here, it would have made a difference. But then we don't have them here, so
they might
I will
also
address it.
hear it. They might also hear it from our recording. So
Okay, so
we come from a think tank.
yes, of course, of course. Okay, yeah. So the first thing I would say is that Africans, the initial thoughts or the initial focus was on natural resources. So when Dr. Vivian was talking about that what can Africans, or what can differentiate them, I was just laughing in my mind that yes, they just think because they have natural resources, that's all they need. I mean, that's what the policymakers have always thought around Africa. The focus was just natural resources. And because they saw that the natural resources was bringing money, they now didn't see any need to start developing other sectors. So it's now that their eyes are beginning to open to some realities. Now that they are seeing countries that do not have natural resources doing a lot better than them, that they thought natural resources was the answer to their problems, and all policies were being focused to the natural resources. So I think that was the first stage of getting it wrong. And now what we're encountering is the resource cost. Yeah, something we call resource cost in development economics, which is where too much attention being given to a particular sector, we like all resources, because they feel that they're getting enough money from there, and then they refuse to develop other sectors. And then that's kind of will have a negative impact in the long run. You know, if anything happens to the resource, and then everything collapses. You notice what happened during the COVID-19 pandemic, that the price of crude oil fell to zero. All the countries that were relying on natural resources, it was a disaster, Nigeria included. So I think presently, I would say that we are beginning to wake up to the fact that natural resources are no longer the answers we need in Africa. Although the policies are slow, because there is still the idea, of reliance on natural resources, but policies are beginning to spring up to see how to develop other sectors, other industries. So the thing is not a rocket science. Even the policymakers, they know that the answer to this is to look in the other direction of how to empower other industries. We have a lot of industries in Africa, and in Nigeria alone, I was checking online the other day, we had up to 50-something different industries. Yeah, but the only one working is everyone's eye is on natural resources and oil. Yeah, there's manufacturing, there's all of these kind of things. Yeah.
Okay, but Mr. Sisters, because of our time, if we just want it specifically, if you can just give us one policy that you think that if the, for example, Nigerian government or the African governments were to implement, it will benefit Africans who would get opportunities globally.
Okay, yeah, there are things already ongoing. Like there is nothing I will say now that it's not new. Our problem is usually on, following through with what we say we are going to do. That's the problem. The problem is not ideas. The problem is not policies. The problem is following through with it. So you will notice that, for instance, there is this, the CBM policy. I think I shared something with you last time. They are supporting people who come up with different ideas of different business ideas. They're going to support them. So they have this very fantastic idea to support SMEs, yeah, startups, businesses. But the challenge with those is they don't follow through with those to the end. You will notice that it usually ends somewhere, and then someone diverts everything to its own pocket and ends there. So what we need is not policies. Now we have them on ground. What we need is a kind of trying to educate people on the need to to be more civilized, to have the good of the public, the good of the masses, to have their good in our hearts. No one cares about Nigeria. No one cares about Africa. Everyone cares about me, my family, my grandchildren. So we need a kind of a massive campaign to kind of change mindsets. So what we need now is not policies. All those are in the paper. If you go through the papers, I'm working in the policy space. I can assure you that there is nothing new I can tell you that has not been put down on paper somewhere. So because of time, I'll kind of stop there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sixes. The ideas are there. It's just the implementation and also the mindset. That's awesome. Um, we will shortly be bringing this to a close. But before we bring it to a close, do we have any questions from anyone in the audience for any of our moderators? We'll be taking 3 questions and we will conclude and we'll call it a day. Anyone? If you have a question, please indicate by raising your hand and we would ask you to unmute your mic and you can ask. Anyone? Wow. If there are no questions, it probably means that we've done so much justice to the questions that no one is confused about any of the ideas we've shared. Um, yeah. Okay. I have one last question for the panelists, and probably I would like each of them to just answer it, and then we would have our closing formalities. So I'll start with Dr. Vivian. Doctor, how would you say Freelancer has supported you in your hiring and also in making a difference to Africa?
I would say it's been very helpful. I'm glad, I think our meeting was timely, mobile, and it's been a window, like I say, to enable me hire, but also contribute at the same time to creating opportunities on that side.
Yeah.
So, and well, I know that for me, I can just buzz you, on it, but as you grow, that may not always be there. But for me, it's been helpful. And yeah, well done, and well done to you guys on the idea and on the focus. And yeah, I pray that God continues to give you guys more grace with it.
Thank you so much, Dr. Viv. Thank you. Moving on to Ruby. So how do you think Freelancer has supported you, or how do you think Freelancer is supporting clients to hire and to make impact in Africa?
Oh my God, in so many different ways. So one of the beautiful parts of freelancer, one of the big things that make me so proud to be associated and work with freelancer is the fact that we're not just even about the gaining of skills or getting something that will give you money, right? I don't know, those of you who are a freelancer or have, freelancers working with you from freelancer, you see that we have a lot of features that encourage the person to be a whole human being. Having a community day, giving the person an opportunity to have a mentor and also to mentor other people in whatever area of skill that they're gifted in. All of this together is contributing to society on a large scale. We might not see it right now because it seems like a minor contribution, but as we grow, as freelancer grows, as we, more freelancers go through that scheme, as they continue to be mentored and mentor other people, you're going to find that we will see the ripple effect of it. A lot more employees who don't just care about the money, but about the well-being of the person employing them, as well as how they in their little way can be contributing to society, because all of these things matter. When you look at some of the best employees today, if you go to any office and you ask them what's one of your best employees, you're going to find that the thing that makes them the best might not necessarily just be their outputs. It might be their ability to care for this and that, and all of that comes from a certain mindset that freelancer gives to everyone who comes to us, whether as a client or as a vendor. And just as Dr. Viv has spoken and said so rightly, she's been happy with some of the freelancers that she's worked with, and I'm sure she's not the only person, So it's just an encouragement for anyone out there who wants to come either as a freelancer or a freelancer rather, or as looking for a freelancer to work with. Freelancer is that place because we're not just building a system to curb unemployment, but we're actually investing in individual lives, and look at it's paying off. Right now might seem small, then in the long run we'll see the larger scale. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Ruby. Mr. Sixtus, for sake of our time, please 1 minute. How do you think freelancer supports clients, and how we making a difference to make impact?
Okay, yes, one thing I would say that freelancer is helping my campaign. I think I said in my opening statement that I've been advocating against development aid and a little more focused, targeted approach towards empowerment. And the freelancer is kind of providing that. And anyone who actually wants to support the African continent, anyone who wants to support the African community should be investing in things like freelancer. So that's what I would say.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I mean, if you've been in the audience, you agree with me that our panelists have been fantastic today. So if you don't mind, just send them thank yous in the chat. We really appreciate everyone for being here today. And we're just going to be stopping the recording and then also just closing with a prayer. Okay, Elvis is saying something. Says Africans sometimes struggle with clients abroad, sometimes because of the demographic they come from. They suffer some issues. What are some tips you can give to freelancers who struggle with those sort of clients? Wow. Okay. Dr. Viv, before you run off, I'm gonna bring that question to you. So just that one, and then we will call it a day. From Elvis.
So I don't know if he can clarify. So let me just read that. Africans sometimes struggle with clients abroad, sometimes because of the demographic. What do you mean because of the demographic they come from? I just want to be clear. What I would do when do we mean the yeah, if you could explain just so that I'm clear, so I'm sure of how to make suggestions on that.
Yeah, sorry, I was can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, so I've actually witnessed an issue with a friend of mine, right, who was working for a client abroad. And I saw the messages from that friend. The client was like, you come from Nigeria, I can actually hire, the client wanted that freelancer to do something that was not part of the agreement. And then there was just some difficulty that happened. And then the client started using, where he came from to judge him, that was just like, he can use whatever he pays him to hire some other developer. I don't really know how to put it, but just because of where that guy came from, the sort of tone the client was using to address him was quite sad. It was kind of like it was being
derogatory, like
yeah. So what can we say to those sort of freelancers that they encounter that?
Okay. So obviously I'm not privy to the whole situation, and let me thinking about it, that same thing could happen with someone abroad. It could also happen with someone not abroad, and I see that, not talking personally, but I've heard of such things, right? Let me put it this way. Let me respond with from different angles. And sorry, I've not prepared my answer, so I'm just going to talk off the off my head. Situations happen, and sometimes, mental health is important to me. So it's a balance of things, right? There's a question of asking, this relationship, is it working? Right? I guess that's the beauty you get as being a freelancer. There's that thing of, oh, you want the money, but if the relationship is not working, is it something that can be salvaged? Is it something that you can talk about? You understand? There's that clarity of what is needed. Remember, is that what do we agree to? What, is it something that can be salvaged? If it's not, if it's a two-way relationship. If it's not, is it something you want to carry on, or is it worth your mental health? Is it worth your self-esteem being down? If it's not, sometimes you get to walk away from certain things that are not. Sorry, this is my philosophy. Sometimes, if it's not, sometimes you got to walk away from certain things, right? And by men, I'm talking again because this incident can happen with anyone from anywhere. Right? You can be working with somebody who is just toxic or somebody trying to pull you down.
Yeah.
You understand what I mean? So yeah. But then there is that bit for you again. I don't know if you heard me when I spoke earlier on of I mentioned how I was reluctant initially, and then I'm happy that I've tried. Not everyone may meet my needs.
Yeah.
Right? But some people could. There are good people out there. I'm a product of Africa myself, right? Forget the fact that I have had external opportunities or just something. I'm also a product of Africa, and so I resonate with and can understand, certain things. But it's that thing of the person as a freelancer. Certain tips is, obviously, is knowing who you are, knowing what value you bring, and then putting yourself in your client's shoes as well, showing interest in the client, showing interest in their business, showing that you're willing to learn and you're willing to try. And sometimes two people are not good for each other. And it's that balance again of saying, when is the working relationship no longer viable, and being okay to step away from that rather than, take insults. That is one of the, I guess, the good sides of being a freelancer, that at some point,
All right. Yeah, thank you.
Was that helpful? Yeah.
It was. Thank you.
Awesome. And on that note, we would be bringing this town hall, this month's town hall, to an end. And it will be great to see you all at the next month. So August is going to be bigger, it's going to be better. We're going to have more fun. So thank you so much, everyone, for spending some time with us this evening. We are so happy you did. And thank you, because you are making an impact in Africa and across the globe. We're really grateful. And thank you to all our panelists, Dr. Viv, Mr. Sixtus, Dr. Ruby. We are really grateful. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation. Thank you. Have a great night. Bye, everyone.